Now that we've learned about some key program features and components, let's explore how your students will experience into literature. Let's look at the program through the experience in the eyes of your students. So we're going to begin by examining the principles that guide the student experience. So once again, you see your PLG page 18. I'll give you a second to turn there. Now let's consider what engagement, let's consider what ownership, collaboration, and reflection, consider what these mean to you and jot down a working definition for each of those. What do these mean to you as it relates to the lives of your students in your classroom? And after you're done doing that, turn to a partner and discuss your definitions. Why each principle is important to you for student learning. We'll come back to this page at the end of the section to fill in examples that we find in materials. Here we have, of course, our unit organization. I want to point out this is for grades 6 through 10. It's going to look slightly different for grades 11 through 12. Once again, PLG pages to help reinforce your learning. And as I go over this on your PLG pages, there's a chart for you to fill in. So I'm going to give you time as I'm going over it to fill in your chart on your PLG pages. Okay. So I'd like for you, if you have a student edition with your grade level, I'd like for you to actually look at the table of contents. Okay. So this is the table of contents for grade 6, unit 2, Through an Animal's Eyes. Notice the following components that make up every single unit. The consistency is here. So starting with the essential question. Of course, the essential question opens up every unit, gets students thinking about the unit theme and topic. It also sparks interest and thought around a unit topic. We offer notice and note. Notice and note is in each unit in grades 6 through 10 begins with the notice and note reading model. Now this reading model introduces and explains the signposts that students will work through throughout the unit readings. Okay, so they'll have these little icons that indicate for them to do more work, to reinforce their learning. Analyze and apply. So during the analyzing and applying section, which is right, you'll find it right there, students receive direct instruction in analyzing, annotating, and applying the notice and note protocol, as well as other standards instruction. Collaborate and compare. Right down here, collaborate and compare. Throughout the collaborate and compare sections, these text selections, students work in groups using their annotations, notice and note signposts, and any reflections to compare texts and draw conclusions about the theme, the unit's theme. Moving forward, we also offer mentor texts. So each unit features at least one of these, one mentor text, that is identified in the table of contents. The mentor text exemplifies a specific text structure and demonstrates the author's purpose and craft. These selections serve as exemplar model texts to support students as they begin crafting their own writing pieces in each unit. Okay, with independent reading, over here on the next section, independent reading. Students have a wide range of genres which they can read from. A wide range of genres, and I should also mention Lexile levels. Okay, so they're reading within their level and also reading within their interests, for their interests. These digital texts support student learning and choice and experience. They provide an opportunity to apply the notice and note close reading strategies in an independent setting to reading that they want to do. Unit tasks, finally at the end, every unit culminates in a task at the end. All students will demonstrate their understanding of the unit topic by synthesizing their ideas and texts. Each unit opens with a spread that prepares students for the work they will do throughout the unit. The unit opener introduces the unit topic, the essential question, related quotations, and academic vocabulary, which you see here. quotation, vocabulary. Give students a nice introduction to the unit, previewing learning that will be going on. So let's take a look at some of these features in this sample unit opener from grade 6, unit 2. So once again, the essential question. So students begin the reciprocal process of reading and writing with an analysis of the EQ, or the essential question. This opens every unit. This question helps to spark students' interest. And they think about this question, they'll return to this question throughout the duration of the unit. Okay? And I'll just read it to you. The essential question: what can you learn by seeing the world through an animal's eyes? So students, once again, will revisit this essential question at the beginning of the text to focus their reading, and then consistently return back to this throughout the unit. They write in response to reading throughout the unit, and connect their reflections back to this EQ, the essential question, in their response logs, which are found at the back of the student edition, the write-in student edition, or simply downloaded from resources on Ed. Okay. Moving forward, talking about the quotation, now this is a quote from Jane Goodall, a personal favorite of mine. This is a topic-related quotation that helps introduce students to the unit topic. For example, in grade 6, unit 2, the unit topic is through an animal's eyes. Students will read this quote from Jane Goodall. They will learn about her work with gorillas, and they'll discuss their initial thoughts about the quotation and the unit topic. So starting that conversation, getting them thinking, speaking and listening strategies, as well as, of course, reading and writing. Moving on to academic vocabulary. The unit opener provides students with the opportunity to preview selected vocabulary words that they may use when discussing and writing about the selection. So notice the words here, just briefly covering the specific academic vocabulary words. Notice how they relate back to the topic of through an animal's eyes. So environment, illustrate, respond, benefit, and distinct all tie back in to the unit topic. Moving forward. So the next lesson after the unit opener is the notice and note reading model. So just by a show of hands, who is familiar with the notice and note strategies for close reading using a 4-finger rating? So if this is brand new to you, just hold up a 1. If you've never used this before or anything like that, just hold up a 1. If you've heard of it, but you've never used it in your classroom, never had any experience with implementing this model, you hold up a 2. If you have read about it and tried it in your classroom, hold up a 3. And 4, if you're an expert and you can explain it to others, go ahead and hold up a 4. In a moment, I'm going to have you share your experience with notice and note based on the feedback that I see from your hands. So moving forward now, the benefits of signposts. I'm going to distribute a reading selection. It's called Brave Little Toaster. And I want to prepare us, my students, for a first read. Okay, so for the first part of this activity, you will independently read a portion of this 8th grade selection, The Brave Little Toaster. After you read, we'll discuss your answers to the following questions. So what is the name of the energy drink? What happened to the food in Mrs. Toussaint's refrigerator, Mr. Toussaint? Where did Mr. Toussaint find the toaster? And how did the fire start? So thinking about these questions for our first read. Reading with signposts. So what events are repeated? Ask yourself, why might the author bring this up again and again and again? What's the author's purpose here? And when does Mr. Toussaint have an aha moment, realizing that something that shifts his actions? Ask yourself, how might this change things? So as you see, we're constantly having students pause at signposts, asking themselves questions about the deeper meaning of the literature and the author's intent behind writing the way they did. I'm going to give you a few moments to read the text, mark up the text with these questions in mind. Thank you. It's been about 5 minutes. So this is what interliterature is all about. You're able to see now the close reading and engaged reading that we do in this program. we want the wait, I'm not done yet reaction from our students, right? And this is what we want students. We want students reading to interact, not just reading to extract. That's a common phrase that we use in this program that we try to build towards